my God. Get cover! Get everywhere! Oh, Jesus.
I suggest to you that the first step in the monetary reset was to issue a pandemic and to poison half the world with a COVID-19 injection, because mass death do create deflation. And now the second step in this enormous crime, throw the world into poverty, an organized energy lockdown, which will cause poverty, stock market crash, stagflation. That is when the prices skyrocket and you turn unemployed. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce the Black Horse, Revelation 6:5. A black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. I suggest to you that the world is about to be struck by global poverty.
This isn't a hard lockdown, not yet. This is a soft phase, much like what we saw in the early days of the Big C, okay, where governments change behavior before they force rationing, okay? So now I'm going to show you this stuff, and once you see it, you can't unsee it, because now you're going to start to think and recognize that there is a big play here going on. So let me take you through some slides here. All right, this is, by the way, the scene in India, and you can see all of the little motor scooters stacked up where people are waiting to put what probably hold about 2 gallons of gasoline in each one of these, at best, 2.5. Okay, look at the crowd just trying to get gas. All right, so here's a key stat for you. Road transport equals 45% of the oil demand. Translation, yeah, they're targeting your daily behavior, not industry quite yet. It's coming. Right. Multiple countries are already implementing. And again, this is from Reuters, right? Thailand, as I mentioned, they're wanting people to raise the AC temps, limit travel, encourage work from home. Singapore is pushing energy efficient use, adjust behavior, AC, appliances, etc. And then Vietnam is encouraging businesses to let employees work from home. Bangladesh, they're closing universities to save fuel. And, this is a systematic demand suppression is what you're watching there. And then corporate, they'll start to get online. This is economic spillover. The rest of the world, right? This is how we watched it last time. It was the noose that just slowly tightened. This was an article over on New American. It was very fascinating. Lockdowns 2.0. The IEA rolls out sheltering plan for U.S. As the U.S. and Israel war on Iran hits the oil supply. Remember, this is just like the WHO telling people what to do during the Big C. Only this time it's not them, it's the IEA, right? It's just another big, conglomerate telling people how to live their lives. So let's take a look at some of the news pieces. Prolonged Hormuz shutdown could wipe out 14 million barrels per day of oil supply. This becomes critical because, as they're saying, this continues on, and it's all by design, that all of the stuff that I just read to you is going to be implemented. There's no two ways about that. That's what's coming. U.S. oil inventories continue to climb while gasoline inventories shrink. What this tells you, when I got into the deets of all of this, what they're saying is that rationing is coming, basically. That's what this tells you. Again, U.S. targets Russian oil facilities. This was on the 24th. So day after day after day, they keep hitting. This is a refinery this time. And it's just It's a pile-on effect, as I mentioned. All this stuff is still sitting. Look at all of the effects around the area. It's very, very heavy. Nothing's getting out of the Persian Gulf. All right, it's all sitting parked. All right. Okay, second tanker hit in weeks. Now, this is the Black Sea. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because we've been talking about the fact that all of this oil, it's not just the stuff that's happening in the Middle East, okay? You start talking about Russia. You know, there are just a handful of very large producers of oil around the world, and Russia is one of them. The reason we had $120 a barrel oil back when the Ukraine kicked off was because of this. So what I find crazy is the fact that Ukraine, knowing what's going on with the energy aspect around the world, the fact that they go and hit this is not good. Okay, because it's just going to, again, it's the stack effect. You're piling on. So you have, the Valero plant that catches fire and that's a big impact on diesel. That's going to cause a price spike in diesel fuel. And then you have things like this, that the second tanker hit out on the Black Sea, hitting Russian oil. Okay, but that's not the only thing. Major oil refineries in Leningrad region reportedly damaged in Ukrainian drone strike. That's 6 hours ago. Russia's vital Baltic oil hubs have been crippled by Ukrainian drone campaign. That was yesterday. So this is massive, folks, and it's just going to be the pile-on effect, because Europe is going to get squeezed. China's getting squeezed. India's getting squeezed. When this starts to happen and they start to disrupt their ability to produce, to store, to refine, and produce gasoline, it is just all of a sudden the world is on fire. Buckle up, folks. I don't see this getting better anytime soon. A lot of the SPR that is starting to enter the market is the only thing that's really keeping gas prices down for places like Europe and the United States and Japan, with that 400 million barrels of strategic oil that was pushed in. But once you burn through that, if you look at it on a global scale, 400 million barrels, it's about 4 days worth of consumption globally. So once you burn through that, then your reach back gets very, very tight. You don't have the ability to just keep doing that. This is going to get really interesting. I don't see anything that would indicate that this war is going to stop anytime soon. I showed you the flights, and it looks like we're going all in terms of troops being deployed into the Middle East. So buckle up.
Faced with a fuel crunch, Sri Lanka has imposed a new system. Private motorists can only buy 15 liters of petrol per week. That too, using a QR code. Across Asia, you will see similar stories. The region has long depended on West Asia for fuel and gas. With the Hormuz shut, things are looking bad. In Cambodia, a third of the petrol pumps have already been shut. In Myanmar, an odd-even system has been imposed. Odd-number cars can buy fuel on one day, even-number cars the next day. For most countries, transport is the biggest casualty. 45% of global oil demand comes from various forms of road transport. In New Zealand, the government is thinking about reintroducing car-free days. Basically, no one uses their car on designated days. Over in Europe, things are slightly better. But one country, Slovenia, has started to ration fuel. Private motorists are restricted to 50 liters per week, while businesses can get up to 200 liters. South Korea has imposed a 5-day vehicle rotation system in Seoul. Cars will be divided into 5 groups based on their registration number. Each day, one group will be prohibited from hitting the road. Beyond transport, countries are also looking at power consumption. Look at the scenes in Bangladesh, schools and universities on extended holiday. Shops and offices shut, This is a country that meets 95% of its energy needs from imports. Despite these moves, the crisis persists. Fuel station owners in Bangladesh say the situation is extremely dire. They warn that a shutdown could happen any day. Over in Pakistan, conservation measures are already in place. Schools and colleges were shut for 2 weeks. Plus, government offices shifted to 4-day work weeks. Yesterday, the top military and civilian leadership met in Islamabad. They took stock of the growing energy crisis. In Southeast Asia, same story. Indonesia is switching to hybrid school classes in April. It is also asking businesses to impose remote work once a week. In Vietnam, the government is nudging businesses towards remote work. In Thailand, government workers will now operate from home. They have also mandated lower AC temperatures at 26 degrees Celsius. In the Philippines, President Marcos has announced a national energy emergency. The emergency will remain in place for 1 year. It will allow the government to distribute fuel to priority sectors. This war has exposed Asia's energy vulnerabilities.
There's still no official petrol rationing in place, but some Sydney service station operators have started implementing their own with caps on how much you can spend at the Bowser. And right now, the only thing rising faster than the price of fuel across the city is anxiety and anger among drivers.
Talk about shell shock. At North Ryde, no ride. The billboard's blank, the taps are off, and everyone's feeling a little empty.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
As this fuel crisis starts to stare Sydney in the face.
Very worrying.
Statewide, 59 service stations tonight sit empty. More than 200 have no diesel, and more than 300 have a limited range of unleaded. At this Shell site in Cromer, fuel rationing. A 50-litre limit with a ban on tanks and cans. Sydney hasn't seen anything like it in any real way since 1979.
The trustworthy Ed Dowd is warning of an incoming stock market crash. The very well-respected Peter Schiff is urging people buy immediately physical gold and silver, which will increase in value dramatically. The monetary giant Alistair McLeod bets his reputation on that silver will smash $5,000 per ounce. And this is obviously, practically, a return to the gold standard which Nixon left 1971, will fool the world and trick the world into poverty.
I have directed Secretary Connolly to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
And all this is very easy to understand when you understand the crime, fractional reserve banking. We should not forget the perpetrator of global crime, Donald J. Trump, who advised the Americans and the world to take the COVID-19 genocide injection.
It's a great vaccine, it's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
I recommend you take it, but I also believe in your freedoms 100%. I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines.
The perpetrators of this crime are the central banks. In America, it is the Federal Reserve Bank coordinating together with BIS, IMF, and other central banks. They are now committing the ultimate betrayal. The legal tender is becoming worth significantly less, together with American bonds, other bonds as well. That is why gold and silver will skyrocket. Physical gold and silver. The banksters are simply fleecing the sheep, but also genociding them through the COVID-19 injection. Politicians are nothing but political actors receiving daily orders what to say. So who is pimping Donald J. Trump, Starmer, etc.? Finally, I recommend you Jesus Christ most urgently. I am a Christian and I believe, I'm firmly convinced that we are at the end of time. Repent and search your rescue with Jesus Christ. My name is Fritiof Persson, Sweden. Thank you. Brought to you by Fritiof Persson, Sweden.